a record that will never be broken.
You can't trip on that.
They hit big shots with Luka. I think the Clippers have no idea.
Oh, look at that reaction. Look at that reaction. What do you say? What do you know? It's the Full Monty Sports Show. We just 5 minutes before the show, one of our stage lights have went out, so it kind of looks like I'm in the dark here. We will try to fix that for you, get more light. So sorry about that, everyone. It really looks dark here. This is not how we normally like to do things. Let's bring on our co-host Brad Ward, who's been waiting patiently. Brad, how are you today?
I'm excellent, sir. Glad to be on your show right now.
Your bye week, Brad. Did you relax?
A little bit.
Not too crazy. Okay, well, we're waiting for A-Marie. Just want to bring up a couple things. You can follow me on social media. On Twitter, MontyJP231. On Facebook, Monty Perez. Big announcement coming tomorrow. We are going to hit the 100,000 views on TikTok in about 2 months for the Full Monty Sports Show. So I want to thank everyone. I don't have a lot of followers on TikTok. I only have I think 350 followers or a little less. But thank you all because we are going to hit 100,000 views in just about 2 months. I try to post at least one video a day, sports related. So very happy with those numbers. Let's bring on A-Marie, our co-host, who is probably still crying from that loss yesterday.
Not
A-Marie,
crying.
how are you?
I was running a minute behind, sorry, and I was like, they probably think I'm not showing up because of the game yesterday. Honestly, the last play of the game, I genuinely laughed because it's so typical. I'm just so used to it as a fan. So,
A-Marie,
it was bad.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, before we get into that game, I just got to tell you, the overwhelming support for you as the light is now being fixed in my studio here. We're into the light. I must have gotten about 10 emails and about 10 texts saying, how's A-Marie doing? And I'm like, I don't talk to her like that. Like, we'll chime in an email here and there. But I'm like, how is anyone feeling? I'm sure she's miserable.
People were tagging me on Facebook. They're like, check in on A-Marie right now. But honestly, it's been 30 plus years, and I called it right before the game. I'll show you the tweet. I called it. I was like, we're giving them their first win.
Before we get into that, I just want to start with one breaking news today. Mario Cristobal is now going to become the head coach of the University of Miami. He is leaving Oregon, and I have to say, thank God. Thank God he's leaving. Miami, be careful what you wish for. This guy is a very good recruiter, but when it comes to in-game adjustments, he's horrible. They lost 38-7 to Utah. A week later, they lose 38-10. And no disrespect to Utah. Talented team, but Oregon has a better recruiting class. They're top 10. The last I looked, Utah wasn't even in the top 30. So Miami, I know Mario Cristobal's from here. He played here. This is his roots. You got a guy who's going to lose every big game because he is not an elite game coach. So that's my take on that. I hope Chip Kelly goes back to Oregon. If not, get us a good offensive coordinator, and we'll be fine. That's my take on that. Okay, A-Marie, this game started.
Hold on. Do you have a crew there? What is happening? Who is I agree with the chat here. Who is fixing the lighting while you are hosting the show? That is the question right now.
That was me doing the lighting with my little remote control here right now. So
how about,
sometimes I have people. My brother used to do my lighting. He kind of didn't like me as a boss, so he kind of said, I'm not doing your lighting anymore. But sometimes I have a little mini crew here. Sometimes I don't. On Monday night, it's all me. It's all me.
That's awesome.
So and A-Marie, a little more light for you than last week.
Yeah, I'm trying. We're slowly, surely getting this little studio together.
Okay, let's talk
my bat cave.
let's talk about this game because from the very start, I was like, when are the Vikings going to put it in second gear? When are the Vikings going to put it in third gear? And they from the beginning to end, they looked like they were lost.
I don't know if lost. I like how we came back out second half. People are still blaming Kirk Cousins when when it wasn't Kirk Cousins. Fire the coaching. The play calling was awful. And when you lose a player like Thielen or any kind of injury, I feel like there's a momentum shift. But no excuses. I know half our defense was out. The list can go on and on. This is no excuses. And if you look at the stats compared to theirs, I mean, Kirk Cousins, 30 for 40, 340 yards. Justin Jefferson, 11 receptions for 182 yards. Alexander Madison, looking like he's the sous chef. I mean, everything.
He played very well, Amory, in the back.
He played very well. Tyler Conklin, our tight end, stepping it up. Our offensive line is garbage, but that's the same old story. But still, penalties once again killed us. 7 penalties. I didn't agree with. I'm not blaming on the refs either, but I thought that when we turned over the ball, I thought that was a face mask on Kirk. But time of possession, everything. We controlled everything. But if you look at that last play, this is like a conspiracy theory. If you look at our cornerback, Dantzler, it looks like he did it almost on purpose. I've watched the play a million times.
It was so weird.
It didn't make sense. It makes
sense. No.
2 plays before you blitz Jared Goff. He falls apart because he's trash. Look at Harrison Smith drilled him. I do not understand why. I hate prevent defense. I hate it with a passion. I've dealt with this my whole life. The same thing happened back in I can go on and on. But what I'm saying is, when you play aggressive, we made Jared Goff look like a freaking Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady. That was ridiculous at the end.
Here's some good news. Amory still has the best hair in sports.
Oh, thank you. Anyways, the typical you beat the Packers, you lose to the Lions. We'll beat the Steelers, we'll beat the Rams, we'll lose to the Bears. It's so stupid.
Amory
fire Zimmer, fire Zimmer, fire Clay Kubiak, and get out.
Look, we all knew the Lions. We all knew this was coming. The Lions have been on the brink of this all season long. They are not as bad as their record is.
They've had so many close games.
This one was just bound to happen eventually. And it's interesting, I heard Goff talking. He played really well, probably the best game of the season for him. And he was talking about how it really changed his perspective watching the game from the sideline. He felt like he had a renewed confidence after watching the game from the sideline. I thought that was really interesting.
It's funny because, people say all the time, like, you're not as bad as your record. And that's true. But, Brad makes a great point. Every week, it's so hard for a team to go undefeated, and it's so hard for a team to lose every game. But to Amory's point, yes, they lost Thielen, but Justin Jefferson stepped up big time. Yes, they lost Cook, but they didn't miss a beat. So, to me, how do you go from beating the Packers to not showing up in the first half? Amory, that's the coach's job. Because one of the things that Nick Saban does so well in college football, one of the things that Bill Belichick has always done is they hammer the weaker opponents. They come in there, they lay the smack down.
That prevent defense, I want to kill someone. I just want to kill someone. I want to kill someone. But
it's conservative. It's conservative coaching, and that's
it is very conservative. And when we play aggressive, we score. When we play aggressive, we win. And I don't know why. Maybe when you're playing someone like the Lions, it's different. But I just want to say this. I've been trying to say. I said this on every podcast I've been the last 24 hours because everybody wants me on because we lost to the Lions. But everyone's so against Kirk Cousins, but I don't care. I've accepted him as my quarterback. I do like him. We are wasting him in his prime. I don't care. All of you can hate on Kirk Cousins all you want. He is playing the best football in his entire career, and we are wasting it because coaching sucks. Coaching sucks. Get rid of everyone.
Amory, Andrea says you need a hug, and she says, I'm sorry for your loss, too. That's what she said.
Thank you. I'm sorry for your loss against the Cardinals as well.
Yes.
Kind of. Anyways, I'm done. I'm sorry.
Real quick, I know we normally get to this. What's the mindset now? Are you almost happy that you have a quick turnaround Thursday. Throw this one out of the window and get focused on the Steelers.
Get back to it. We're gonna win. You watch. We'll win. Oh,
I know.
So stupid. I hope Thielen's okay though. That was so scary.
Yeah, but it wasn't as bad. It's not as bad as we thought, right?
No, because you know when like you can tell when a player is hurt, and you're like, oh my god, this is so bad. Because he was but he was walking. He was fine.
Okay, Brad, let's get to a game that I thought would be more competitive. The 7-5 Chargers, 41-22 over the 7-5 Bengals. The Chargers are now in the driver's seat when it comes to the playoffs.
I guess this Chargers team is
so frustrating.
It's so weird, right? They are. I figured out kind of like if they start fast, then they're okay because teams can't run the ball against them, right? They have to abandon the run. That's what happened to the Bengals. It happened a couple weeks ago to somebody else. I forget. The Steelers. They did the same thing. Fast start and they play better, mainly because their defense is so awful against the run that other teams can't just hammer them in the run game. If they were patient enough, they could probably. And I honestly think Cincinnati's a better team and just lost. Like, Cincinnati loses games they should win because their star players don't perform well. Like Jamar Chase drops a 75-yard, what should have been a touchdown, turns it into an interception. Weird, because he bobbled it 7 times or whatever. Just weird stuff like that. And I honestly think the Bengals are a more complete team, and they just got, that's the NFL. They got beat by the Chargers. Chargers are very frustrating. I have some notes here. Hang on.
Let me jump in while you look at your notes, and you can add.
Yeah.
One of the things that was so frustrating to me is there was a series where the Chargers had 4 plays, right? 4 plays, and the same left side of the Chargers offensive line, Justin Herbert got hit and sacked 3 out of the 4 times. Like, not once did they put a running back to, maybe chip block. Not once did they make an adjustment to put a tight end over there. It's basically their 5 guys, and 3 out of the 4 plays in a row, because there was a penalty on the defense, Justin Herbert got sacked on 2 of them and got hit on the 3rd one. They didn't make one adjustment when there was a linebacker and a defensive end there. And I'm like, what the hell is this guy doing?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I was going to say, the last comment I was going to say about this game is Burrow's finger, right? So the implications of this could be huge. I was surprised, I was trying to follow it, but like on the sideline, he couldn't even throw the ball 5 feet. Then he got out of the game and he's throwing humdingers down the field. I was like, what the hell's going on?
Did you see how much pain he was in when he was throwing on the sideline?
Yeah, he couldn't even like
crazy.
Yeah, and then they showed it on the ball and it looked like he had like a go-go gadget pinky finger. It was like all the way out to the left.
And I think that affected them because they were getting in rhythm. And then in the second half, he had a bad interception. He had another, So I think, props to him because he's like, I'm not coming out of the game. But when they showed him on the sideline, he didn't look comfortable at all.
No, not at all. And I was actually surprised he came back in the game. You can't go, probably because you can't go to Brandon Allen. Anything is better than him. So I guess, him with a bad finger is better than him. But I was surprised he was able to play through the pain, throw the ball with the velocity that he threw it after he barely could do it on the sideline. He looked like, go gadget finger. Yeah, he looked like, I was trying to read his lips. He looked like he said he's like, I'm not sure if I broke it. He said the one time. So I don't know if it's broken, dislocated, or whatever. If it's broken, that's not great for them.
That's not great because they're in the hunt as well. Okay, let's move to the Eagles. Look, we had a Gardner Minshew sighting here in Philadelphia. Listen, this is still the funniest picture on the internet right here. This is so. Every time he looks exactly like White Goodman from Dodgeball. So I love this picture. But I will say this: it's so weird how certain teams play well against other teams. The Philadelphia Eagles are 12-0. Against the Jets. It's the longest streak of being undefeated against a team in the history of the NFL. And it makes no sense because the Jets are in the AFC, Philadelphia's in the NFC. But I got to say, look, Gardner Minshew's not the most talented guy in the world, but if you saw the video that was trending on social media, him hugging his dad afterwards, him going to the fans, Brad, give me 10 of these guys, right? With the passion to win, the desire to win, the just like overall loving to play football. God bless this dude. God bless him.
He had a little hot streak in Jacksonville last year.
Yeah, he did. He did.
I'm not like a big Minshew guy. I guess, he's kind of a goof to me.
Yeah, I know, right?
I mean, I can't really take him seriously. Like, I don't know. But he does. The crazy thing that you said is that he does have talent. Yeah. Like, he makes some really, really good throws from the pocket. He's just not consistently. I don't think he's athletic enough.
He's a perfect backup. He did exactly what he should do. Come in, play well, not really cause the team to win. And regarding the Jets, look, they are on pace to be historically the worst defense the Jets have ever had. The worst defense the Jets ever had. Now, I know people don't want to fire the coach. Fine, give him another year. But when you're a defensive coach, and this is what I don't understand about Urban Meyer, who's supposed to be an offensive guy. If you had to label Urban Meyer offense or defense, you would say offense. They're historically bad. They're scoring, them and Houston are scoring less than 15 points a game, which is disgraceful. But good for the Philadelphia Eagles. They're in the hunt at 6-7, and good for them to win without Jalen Hurts. Okay, Marie, Bucks 9-3 beat the Falcons. Tom Brady is 10-0 against Atlanta.
No, he is 10-0. No surprise. Yeah, but this was very interesting because the first half, it was actually a game, though. In the second half, Atlanta couldn't do crap. So, it's just typical. Except Atlanta could run against the Bucks, but they both had it was a pretty equal game, though. Like, it was weird. It was not
Brady
close, but it was close.
Brady, the Falcons were competitive. The one thing that I keep telling people is if Leonard Fournette can establish the running game,
which they couldn't run. They couldn't run yesterday.
They couldn't run, but as long as Rob Gronkowski's in that lineup, I had Gus Farad on yesterday talking about his security blanket when he played. It was Julian Edelman, it was Wes Welker. Now it's Gronk. The stats with Gronk in the lineup. It's almost like when George Kittle's in the lineup for San Francisco, the offense is just 1,000 times better.
And it's unbelievable. And in the Bucks, 5 sacks. Poor Matt Ryan was on his butt all day yesterday. Poor guy.
That's my question. That's my question for you guys. Where are you at with Matt Ryan in his career? Like, what would you say about Matt Ryan? Like, if you took Matt Ryan and put him in a different destination, could he be successful?
I think he could have a year or two good years somewhere else.
Yeah, I just think it's run its course in Atlanta. This is, after they haven't been right since they lost the Super Bowl. This is now the third coach I think he's had. So, right. Eventually, how long are you going to hold on, in that division? The good news is in that division, right? You have Tom Brady, who's going to be the best quarterback unless he plays against Aaron Rodgers' division for the most part, or Kyler Murray. Tom Brady's never going to get outplayed, and if he does, it'll still be competitive. But you look at that division, if you're Atlanta, what's your identity, right? What's your identity? It used to be Matt Ryan, right? It used to be their offense. Tony Gonzalez, Matt Ryan. You're seeing Freeman, who played for Atlanta, now playing with the Ravens. I don't know what the Atlanta's personality, what's their strength, what's their weakness, what's their identity.
I don't know, but the whole Calvin Ridley thing has killed them. So okay. I don't even know what to say about Calvin Ridley, but just him stepping away. I mean, he was probably, I thought he was going to be one of the better receivers in the league this year.
Listen, he came from Alabama. He actually played better than Julio Jones 2 years ago. So I thought him and Pitts that got some weapons there, but it hasn't panned out.
And I love Cordell Patterson.
Yeah, he's been phenomenal, by the way. Okay, Brad, Steelers 6-5-1 beat the Ravens 8-4, 20-19. I want break this game down, and then I want to get your guys' perspective because I think this was one of the worst decisions Harbaugh's ever made, and I said it before they didn't go for the 2-point conversion, and I'll explain after Brad breaks this down.
That's very unlikely.
Yeah, so, all right. Ben was terrible all game
He's golfing.
until the fourth quarter. Until the
Yeah.
fourth quarter, scored 17 points. Deontay Johnson went off, got them back in this game, tied the game up or whatever, took the lead. Baltimore obviously goes down, and then we can talk about the decision here, and scores a touchdown. Nobody played well. Baltimore, once again, playing to the level of whoever they play against, right? This really shouldn't have even been a close game. Marlon Humphrey, though, it sounds like is out for the season. And I think, they ask him to do at corner more than anybody, in the league asked a corner to do. And they now have lost Peters and him in their secondary. They have been ravaged by injuries more than anybody in the NFL. Their injured reserve list is like 25 deep right now.
Yep. Yeah. At one point, they lost 18. They lost 18 players in the first 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay, so Brad, do you want to talk about the 2-point conversion, or you want to hear my version first? Okay.
I'll go ahead first.
Good.
Here's the thing, right? Their analytics, that's their thing. Their analytics, the analytics say go for it there, right? But if you're the better team, then you go to overtime. And that's just where it is for me. The only time you go for it there is if it's do you remember, was it Boise State versus Oklahoma in the bowl game?
They did the hook, the trick play, and
yes,
they scored.
Yes.
Yeah, and they won.
That's the type of, if you're, in it just as the underdog and it's down to that situation and you think your best chance is one play versus 15 minutes of football because you're a worse team, then you go for a trick play or whatever to win the game. That's what you do, right? It's just like in basketball. If you're on the road, you take the 3 for the win instead of the 2 for the tie, right? It's the same concept here. The Ravens are the better team, so go to overtime and be the better team and win the game.
Yeah, first of all, there's so many things that when the play was called, I was watching the game with my brother. I said, "This doesn't make any sense. This doesn't make any sense."
But that's hardball. That's
right.
hardball, though.
You kind of, and I listen to shows. I listen to a different sporting show every week. Sometimes I'll listen to a podcast if I have a guest coming in to cover a certain team. By the way, here's the play Brad's talking about right there. Boise State goes for the 2-point conversion, and they win.
Statue of Liberty.
Statue of Liberty play. What a great call against Oklahoma in the bowl game. So good for you, Brad, for bringing that up. But here's what I'll say. So I'm listening to shows today, and I just happened to listen to Colin Cowherd, whether you like him or not, whatever. The guy's the number one guy on Fox Sports. And Colin said, a lot of people don't like him. But Colin says this is the Ravens' identity, right? Their identity is to go for it. Which, okay, let's say your identity is to be aggressive. But that's not the Ravens' identity. Their identity is running the ball, not putting Lamar Jackson in a situation where he must throw. On 3rd and long, Lamar Jackson has been terrible this year because he doesn't throw it. So if you're telling me this is the Ravens' identity, that's BS because they threw the ball. The Ravens' identity is put 3 running backs in there, get your 2 tight ends in, and run the ball, do a trick play. That's the first thing. The second thing is you have a better quarterback, okay? You have a better offense. Big Ben got hot late in the game, okay? But I'm going to trust my better quarterback in overtime, and I'm also going to trust we have the best field goal kicker in the world in Justin Tucker. So for all these people saying, the people who are, you have a better quarterback, you have a better offense, you have a better kicker, which most overtime games end in a field goal. What the hell are we doing here, John? And he says, well, we didn't have our defensive backs were almost gone. I get all that. But if you win the toss and you get the ball back, you could kick a 55-yard field goal. Game over.
Yeah. The Steelers scoring those amount of points in the fourth quarter isn't sustainable in my book.
Right,
so as a coach, I'm going to bet 1,000,000 times that Lamar Jackson in his prime is going to be Ben Roethlisberger, aging, crippled, and decaying.
One step out the door, yeah.
And here's my thing. Like, we've heard Harbaugh say, Lamar Jackson is really opening up the doors for running quarterbacks. You don't have to be a Tom Brady. You don't have to be an Aaron Rodgers.
Except he turns over the ball.
But not just that, you showed me no confidence in your team. If you have one of the reasons why my team was so successful coaching basketball, we had better talent and we would run up the score. What I mean by that is we were third in the country. We scored 93 points per game. So at halftime, if a team was averaging 70 points, we're down 62-60. We were loving life because we wanted more possessions. We wanted the game to extend. You have the better team here. You have the better quarterback. And more importantly, you have a better field goal kicker. What the hell are you doing?
Yeah, makes no sense. I agree, 100%.
Hey, Marie, you're not agreeing with me.
No, I agree with you. I was just really, I'm not going to lie, I was happy. Well, does it help you, Brad?
Oh, yeah.
Thrilled.
Okay,
thrilled.
yeah, I was really happy that happened. So.
Yeah,
all right.
And you know what?
I don't dislike them. I just, I'm like, everyone puts them on such a pedestal, and that just pissed. They put them on such a high pedestal, and so yeah.
And when their offense struggles, it's really ugly to watch.
It's awful. Yeah, and you know what? They have been so clutch, Monty, all year in these kind of situations, right? It was bound for them to lose a game like this. Although I think if they go to overtime, they win, and that's the point, is that they've been clutch in these situations. They've found ways to win. So give me some more football, because I feel like we're going to win, right?
And Justin Tucker could drill. If they get the ball, Justin Tucker could drill a 58-yarder.
Like against the Lions?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like against the Lions, yeah.
I don't understand what and most of the talking heads on national media are defending Harbaugh, saying, "Oh, he's aggressive." Okay, but run the ball then. Put 3 running backs in there, 2 tight ends, and say, "Yeah, you want Lamar Jackson to be the man? Let him run and make a play. Don't put the ball in his hands when he's got to throw it."
I just don't. I think it's crazy to even go for it there in general. But here's the thing, right? I'm rooting for in this game badly for the Steelers. I need the Steelers to win badly. So they make the decision to go for it, and I'm like, yes, they're going for it, because that's the only chance the Steelers had to win was to stop them on that play, in my opinion. So it's a bad decision if the team that you want to win is on defense, and you're cheering when they go for 2 to win the game.
I said to one of my friends today, who's not Rico, but who's a Steeler fan, I said, look, that game was so ugly, and Andrea just put that in the comment, but it was entertaining because you were like, what the hell's going to happen? And Big Ben just came out of nowhere in the fourth quarter, threw it all over the field.
I mean, really that play call too, and I agree with you about throwing the ball, but really, he throws it sidearm, it's a spiral, it's out there, it's just barely off. I mean, that play, probably 7 out of 10 times is a 2-point conversion. They just, it's not like the Steelers did anything to stop it. They just jacked it up. They just jacked it up.
Yeah.
All right, let's move to the Seahawks and 49ers. I was shocked because I thought the 49ers were getting some momentum. I thought the 49ers, the Seahawks defense has been terrible.
What a weird day
and then it started to play better. Then their offense has been terrible. But I got to say this. Think about how dominant this is. The Seahawks were 4-8. They're 4-8. They beat the 6-6 49ers 30-23. Seattle is now 14-2 against San Francisco. I don't care who you are, what division you're in. Division rivals, the last 16 games, Seattle has won 14.
Oh, wow.
They're 14-2 in their last 16 games against them, including the playoffs. Oof. And I will say this, guys. You look at the NFC West right now. My friend Jared, who's been on the show numerous times, covers the 49ers, he said, unless we run for 150 yards and everything is perfect, Jimmy G can't lead us to victory. And you look at that division, right? You have Kyler Murray, who comes in from being injured, plays a great game. Russell Wilson has struggled this year. He got hurt, but he's still a Hall of Fame quarterback. And Matthew Stafford looks like they played Jackson, but looks like he's a better quarterback San Francisco is going into every game with the fourth best quarterback. That's not easy to do when you're playing in a division that has that talented of quarterbacks in it. So what is San Francisco going to do?
Well, they already drafted the next quarterback.
Trey Lance.
Yeah.
And if they stay healthy, they're a decent team.
But my question is,
fragile.
Is this Jimmy G's last year? Because he's still under contract. So what are we doing with Jimmy G next year?
Well, I think that you probably didn't spend all that capital to let your starting quarterback sit more than 1 year. 1 year, I get that, right? But next year, I would believe that they hand over the reins to Trey Lance.
Okay, and
Garoppolo is a trade piece.
Just so you know, next year Jimmy G is scheduled to make $24 million.
Nice.
Somebody'll take him. He's better than a lot of starting quarterbacks.
He went to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, man. I think about taking him right now.
Yeah, he won the first half of the Super Bowl.
Brad's like, I wish I had Jimmy G right now.
Or seriously.
All right, Marie. I don't know why people aren't talking about this team.
I love the Cardinals.
They're 10-2, 7-0 on the road.
How can you love the Cardinals?
I don't know. I like
They're so obnoxious.
I like them. I don't know why I like them, but
Wait, Brad,
I might be going to... What?
Brad, how are they obnoxious? They never win. Obnoxious teams win. Like the Bucks are obnoxious.
I mean, this year they're obnoxious, and maybe it's just like I'm just not a big Cliff Kingsbury guy. Go ahead.
I understand. If you look at the stats, though, they just make big plays because it's so crazy. Because if you look at the stats, it looks like the Bears should have won this game between yardage. They had 26 first downs versus Cardinals had 14. They had 71 plays versus 51 plays. They had way less penalties, but once again, they turned over the ball 4 times, and that's why they lost. I think the Bears could have beat them actually, but they're a great team. That James Conner kid he's
really
well.
Playing well. I mean, he's
really playing well.
Yeah, he's playing well.
Murray only threw the ball 15 times yesterday. He was running like a maniac too. So I think the Bears could have actually beat them if they didn't turn over the ball 4 times. But yeah, Kyler Murray's back.
Yeah, he is. And I will say this: I'm shocked because Cliff Kingsbury was a disaster in college. He couldn't win with Patrick Mahomes. I think he was like, I don't know, off the top of my head, I think 19-35 in Big 12 play, and now they're 10-2. Brad.
I know.
You're not buying
NFL.
We should have beat them.
James Conner is an interesting.
I like him.
I like him a lot. I've read his book. He's a cancer survivor. It's called Fear is a Choice.
Oh, cool.
His book is, but he is a awesome guy. But he did not look anything like this kind of back in Pittsburgh.
No.
I wondered what kind of a back he actually was, but he looks like he put on some good weight and he looks dominant out there right now.
Yeah, it looks like he really worked his ass off this offseason, and I thought he had a good rookie year or a second year in Pittsburgh, but then maybe it was just the offensive line. Maybe it was that simple. Yeah.
More than likely, yeah.
Oh, but yeah, good. Like I said, no one's taking this team seriously, but they are 10-2. Okay, Brad, the Washington football team. I don't get this team at all.
Taylor Heineke.
I mean, I don't. He's having his own Fitz magic.
So, by the way, if you've noticed
Vegas screwed me yesterday with the spread. Damn it.
Can I just point out a theme here in all these games? Just about everything went the Browns' way yesterday, by the way, on bye week.
Of course, all the AFC teams losing.
Yeah, so the Bengals lose to the Chargers, the Ravens lose to the Steelers, which we needed badly, and then here we go. Also helping us is the Raiders losing on a last-second field goal to the Washington Football, and Taylor Heineke, who has clutch gene running through his veins. He's very good. Very good in money time. He's cooler than the other side of the pillow. I like Heineke. Defense playing really, really well. Washington's defense is without all of their stars on their front four. Incredible story there.
Isn't that amazing that they lose all their guys and they almost look like they're better now?
Not even like just like, oh, those are our starters. Like, these guys are like legit premium front four guys
Like
in
all pro
Sweat.
guys.
Yes, in Sweat and what's his name from Ohio State. So
Young.
yeah, Young. It's crazy, and the Raiders are just doing Raiders things. This is what I told you guys this weeks ago that the Raiders would fade.
Yeah,
So.
good point. The Raiders always fade in the second half. All right, the Rams beat the Jaguars. Look, not a lot to say here, except some confidence maybe for their defense, some confidence for their offense. Odell Beckham Jr. caught a touchdown. Cooper Kupp's just being Cooper Kupp every game. He's so unstoppable. Stafford played better. I just got to question what the Jaguars are doing. They have no game. I watched part of that game. They have no plan what they're doing offensively. Their star running back, Robinson, fumbled, and then he benches him for the rest of the game. They're scoring 15 points a game. The only other team that's scoring less is the Houston Texans at 13. If you're a Jacksonville Jaguar fan, what the hell are you rooting for at this point? I mean,
well, you're rooting for him to get rid of Urban Meyer at this point. I think. We talked about this. He's like you said earlier, offensive reputation as a coach, right? But not really, though. I mean, he just brought the spread everywhere he went. He won because he could recruit. He didn't win because he's a great football guy.
Right. Great, absolutely great recruiter. Terrible human being, by the way. But that's neither here nor there. Okay, Marie, look, I love Jonathan Taylor. I love the Colts when they give him the ball 30, 20, 10. Give him the ball 40 times a game as far as I'm concerned.
Well, Kyle wanted them to stop giving him the ball at the end of the game at that point when they were destroying them. Avoid the injury, but 32 carries, 143 yards, 2 touchdowns. Wincy's not throwing the ball that much. They're going to win ball games. Their defense is good. They're a good team, and I love Pittman Jr. so much. He's so good.
I love him.
Their receivers are huge, too. And if you're not watching Hard Knocks on HBO Max, because you know I am, it actually is really good. I like the Hard Knocks in season versus the preseason one. It's a lot more entertaining and better, not just because.
By the way, so Tyrod Taylor, they're talking about they might bench him.
Oh God, Davis Mills went in.
The Colts defense looks really, really good.
Very good. This is what we saw last year. Did people forget they were really good last year? And maybe they're going to heat up at the right time. I don't know, but I have to beat the Steelers tomorrow, I've been told, so they have a chance at the wild card. That's what I've been told. That's my assignment for tomorrow.
That's your assignment.
The Texans looked awful. Jonathan Taylor is incredible.
I mean, 13 points.
13 God, he's good.
13 points a game for Houston, just terrible. Brad, I think the Colts can win this division.
They're a great team.
I look at.
It just sucks because they lost to the Titans twice, so they have to win out. They have to win out games.
That's what I was going to say. They lost to them twice, but the Titans, after losing Derrick Henry, can we say Jonathan Taylor is the best running back in the NFL right now?
I would say
close with the Brownsy over there, but I would say Chubb or Jonathan. I say Jonathan Taylor, but oh hail Jonathan Taylor, pass the crown.
All right, Brad, gonna make a quick announcement here. Our good friend Alex Scooby, since he's been on the Full Monty Show, die-hard Dolphin fan. They've won 5 in a row.
Gaskins screwed me over yesterday.
So
$1,600 I could have won.
Oh,
wait, how did he screw you over?
Because I did a parlay where he needed 53 yards and he had 44.
Oh, I'm going to get into the Chiefs.
Sorry, I just had a vent
the
about
Chiefs
that.
fantasy football because I had Travis Kelce, and I'm going to go off on that. But all right, Brad, go ahead.
No, this is the Dolphins have won. What'd you say? How many have they won in a row? 5 straight. Tua's playing well. They're doing, Tua is good when he plays within what they want him to do. And they're doing a pretty good job of, letting him throw to one-on-ones, up for grab balls, stuff like that. And everything else has to be over the middle of the field. He's not great at throwing outside the numbers. And they're playing to his strength, and Waddle's getting open over the middle, and all those guys are doing pretty well that way. Their defense is really the story, though. They took Jalen Phillips in the draft. He is an absolute stud. off the edge, and I really like Javon Holland a lot. And they're being really creative with their defense. Obviously, they have a really good defensive head coach, but that defense is very creative and a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, listen, Tua's completing 70% of his passes. So they're high volume throws. They don't risk a lot. And that
Nothing
defense,
over like 15 yards.
No, nothing. And that's fine when you have guys like Waddle who can go over the middle, where you have the tight end Gesicki. But I will say this defense over the last 5 games, I know they've played crappy teams. They haven't given up more than 17 points in 5 straight games. So that defense is playing really, really well.
They are. Young,
now,
talented.
Are they a playoff team? Marie, you first.
The Dolphins?
The Dolphins.
In their no. Well,
Brad?
there's no way not
way
their division. No
hell.
way. Bills, Patriots, no way.
There's no way in hell.
Okay.
I don't think they're winning out, do you?
No.
They would have to win out to get in.
What is this, Marie?
What? Oh, yeah, I am hitting the LaCroix hard. It's the seltzer.
Hey, I wanted to mention this, by the way. Let's go back a moment here to the Hard Knocks thing, right? So, Ken Rogers is the showrunner for Hard Knocks. He works for NFL Films. He's done like the 30 for 30s. He did Primetime 30 for 30, Primetime's Double Play, and the 2 bills about Belichick and Parcells. Anyways, he's the showrunner for all the Hard Knocks stuff, the preseason one, the in-season one. He comes on my show before every season. He's a fantastic guy, and like we got to ask him about like last year during the pandemic and everything, like because they were out in LA, right? They did both teams at the same time.
Yeah.
On Hard Knocks, and he was like talking about how like crazy it was to like time capsule like everything going on with the pandemic and everything. So it's pretty amazing. They have like over like 3,000 cameras all over those facilities and stuff. It's pretty wild.
So cool.
To hear him talk about that stuff. Yeah. And they like edit right up to the moment that they like release the show. Like, so stuff they have from that day, they like cut into the footage like right before the show.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, he's an incredible interview, and they do an amazing job. And it's so crazy. Liev Schreiber of
everything.
No, but the show on Showtime.
It's my brother's favorite show. What the hell?
Ray Donovan.
Yes,
Ray Donovan.
Yeah.
Which is coming out with a movie now, and I love that show, and I love Liev Schreiber. He's amazing, but his voice sounds completely different, but he narrates that show incredibly.
Well, the Bill thing was incredible because you could tell.
Yes.
I think Bill Belichick looks at Bill Parcells and was like, "You abused me for so long, and now like they have a kind of a respect for one another." But it's kind of like Bill Belichick is a little bitter towards him. You got to remember, Bill Parcells hired him to be the Jets head coach, and Bill Belichick said yes for one day, and then he went to New England.
Changed his
so
mind.
He kind of like screwed over Bill Parcells there as well.
Crazy. Last thing on this topic about Ken Rogers, the guy the showrunner. I asked him about Liev Schreiber one time that he was on the show, and I asked him, I was like, how is he, as like the narrator? And he said it's so crazy. He treats being narrator of Hard Knocks as like a character in a show. So like they'll give him stuff to say, and he'll be like, no, the narrator wouldn't say that. He's like,
wow.
This character
That's
wouldn't
great.
say that.
Yeah,
so
and,
like he treats it like a character. That's
I
pretty
always
wild.
say that like when you have people who are at the highest profession, everything they do, even if it's not their comfort zone or they want to be the best at it, and they want to have their input. And like I said, it's so much different watching Hard Knocks in season than it is preseason.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move to the game. Let me just say, I know no one gives a crap about fantasy football, but going into
we all do.
No, but like most fans don't care
about our
my
own
team.
teams. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I was down for whatever reason in 3 of my fantasy football teams. I was down by 6, by 7, and by 6. All I needed to do was have Travis Kelce get 3 catches for 30 yards. He got 3 catches for 27 yards. I lost to Rico on my show by 0.5. I lost in another league by 1, and I lost in another league by 1.2. Because all I needed Travis Kelce. You'll never see that. It was so weird because all I had was Travis Kelce going on all 3. Everyone else played, and it was so close. I'm like, This is a wrap. All he has to do is get 3 catches for 30 yards. He got 3 catches for 27 yards.
Oh
I
my
don't know
God.
what's going on. First of all, let me just say this. One of the reasons why I really enjoy watching the Green Bay Packers is because I never have to worry that my quarterback is going to be outplayed. Even if Rodgers has a bad game, it's 250 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interceptions. Teddy Two Gloves, they had a drive that was 20 plays, and they didn't score. Everything is dink and dunk. Throw the goddamn ball down the field once, please.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so frustrating to watch.
It is.
Everything is run the ball. On 3rd and 2, they'll throw it 1.5 yards. It is disgusting. And again, going along those same lines, you have Derek Carr, whoever you want to say about him, the guy can sling it. You got Justin Herbert. Patrick Mahomes hasn't been great. I think his mechanics are way off. There's something not right about him. But when he's healthy, he's still elite. And you're going with Teddy Bridgewater, and this dink and dime stuff all day is just disgusting. I can't watch it.
It is. They just don't have enough firepower to really sustain any kind of, they have some good wins this year, and as soon as you think that they're going to do something, like you watch that game, it's so frustrating because it's weird, like Kansas City's defense now is playing really well.
Yeah.
And their offense is very pedestrian. And Mahomes was borderline bad yesterday.
Yeah, he was.
Borderline bad. I've been saying there's something wrong with him, but you can't tell what it is. He was just not very good yesterday, and their offense has been not very good. They can't figure it out. They just don't have the patience, I think, and that's the book on them. You know what I mean? The games that they are patient, they win by a ton. But it's so frustrating yesterday because you just need Denver to just have some kind of explosion. You've got some good receivers. You've got Cortland Sutton. They just can't. It's just so frustrating.
And here's my thing. At least once, maybe the first play of the game, throw the ball 50 yards so at least it's in the defense's mindset.
Totally.
Yep.
No
All right.
chances down the field.
Okay, so we're going to talk about tonight's game. Brad, I'm up 2 from you. Amory, you lost last week. You're down 5. You were down 4.
Yeah, and I know. I know.
Don't worry about it, Amory. There's plenty of time left for you to make a run. Okay.
Oh,
Let's talk about this game. I posted a video this week, and I said, people keep telling me that the Patriots can't score. They're scoring 28 points a game, 7th in the NFL. Okay? People keep telling me that this Patriot team is not complete. They're number 1 in point differential. Remember, Tom Brady was 32-3 against Buffalo. So the Patriots own this team. I know it's in Buffalo. I'm taking the Patriots tonight to win. Brad, you're up next.
I'm taking the Bills, and my fear with the Patriots, and I think I said it last week too, is, and I know the stats don't bear it out, but can Kendrick Bourne and Nelson Aguilar really win when somebody locks them down one-on-one outside with
like
good
that, no.
corners? Can they really win on a consistent basis? No, they cannot.
Yeah. I just think Bill Belichick is going to find a way. I mean, he didn't just stop for Tom Brady's great. He could go anywhere and they'll win 9 games, right? Even with a crappy team. Bill Belichick is a great coach. He's been a great coach, and Tom Brady helped him go to the next level. But I just got to figure that now Bill Belichick senses, we're in first place. He's got his team believing. They've won 6 out of 7. Amory, you're not buying this Patriot team.
No. I'm buying this Patriot team, and I think they're going to be very dangerous. But I think the Bills need a statement game, and I still believe from the beginning of the season, I know it's been a little weird, but I think the Bills are back, and I think that Josh Allen and the Bills are going to make a statement against the Patriots at home.
Okay.
And they cover. They cover.
And they cover!
Brad, are you hinting that people should bet on the Bills tonight?
Yes.
Okay,
I am.
Amory, let's get to the Thursday night game. Good for you.
Vikings! I'm picking the Vikings!
Let's go, Vikings! Let's go, Vikings!
Even
There's
though
no way
I
the
think
Vikings lose this game,
most
right?
Viking fans wants to lose so Zimmer gets fired quicker. But I am sticking by my team.
But you guys
Purple.
can still get in the playoffs.
I know! That's what
The NFC is a shit show, yeah.
Yeah, but I think, and I know people have said this about the Bears early on. I think Vikings fans are like, maybe we shouldn't get into the playoffs because then they have to fire Zimmer. Because if they get in the playoffs, they lose in the first round. Zimmer's coming back, right, Amory?
Sure.
I don't
Probably.
think they have to lose in the first round, though. They are so totally talented. It just takes the right time of year to get hot.
Back. Let's go. I think that we're pissed from Sunday. I think we'll rally as a team. But besides the coaching, I'm picking us to take this home on primetime purple.
Okay, I'm taking the Vikings
Kirk
as well.
Cousins is in his prime. I don't care what any of you guys say.
I got the Vikings big in this one.
Let's
I like
go!
the Vikings big.
All right, so we all have
Pretty.
the Vikings, and the only difference here is I'm taking New England. Okay, Marie, what's going on in your world? How can we support you and follow you?
Catch me on the radio Monday through Friday, 7 to 10 a.m. on the Sports Animal. We have an app now, so you can listen to me just all the time for free. And I'm really excited if you're in New Mexico, the state of New Mexico. I'm the halftime show at the New Mexico Lobo Colorado State game on December 28th.
Is that a bowl game?
It's a college basketball game.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay, hey, Marie, look. Right here. Sports
And
Animal.
I
have the app. I have the app downloaded.
I have it too.
Yesterday, because I was just tweeting fiercely about the Vikings and the Lions, I reached over 5,000 followers. So thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much.
Listen, this is a very momentous occasion on this show. You've reached over 5,000 followers on Twitter. Brad's at, 1,800 subscribers on YouTube?
Yeah,
And
1820 now.
And I said in the beginning, before you came on, Marie, I'm about to hit 100,000 views on TikTok with the hashtag The Full Monty Sports Show. So between the three of us, we are kicking ass.
Let's go.
All right, Brad.
Go
Marie,
Bills.
we'll see you next week. Thanks so much. All right, Brad, when's your next show?
Well, I will be on the Dogs Table tomorrow night. It's not my show, but I go on there on Tuesday nights and visit with them. There's some fun guys. Talk a little Browns. And I'll be on Thursday night. Guests to be determined. Maybe multiple guests. But we'll have a big show on Thursday night as we get back. And then, of course, Saturday night, I always do a show with the great Jake Burns in Cleveland. And we do a preview show every Saturday night. And my newsletter is now out. The All Eyes on Cleveland newsletter, week 2 this week. So if you see it, subscribe. It's free and it's awesome.
Brad, real quick, when you do your shows, I know because your schedule sometimes, when you go on these guest shows, like you said, and when you go, has you ever come across, because one of the reasons why I stopped doing guest appearance on certain shows is I'd go on a show and I'd be like, well, I'll give you an example. I went on this show one time to talk about the New York Rangers, and the host was a big-time hockey guy in Buffalo, and he said, well, you guys haven't won a cup since Wayne Gretzky. And I said, what? I said, Wayne Gretzky never won a cup with the Rangers. I said, you're thinking of Mark Messier. He goes, wow, Monty, you're really embarrassing yourself. He's like, I thought you knew hockey. And I go, no. Mark Messier won it in 1994. He's like, no. He's like, we're going to let you go, Monty. And he goes, it's embarrassing that you bring people on and they don't know what the hell they're talking about. And he got killed on social media. Have you ever been on a show one time, maybe at the start, and you're like, what a disaster this was?
Well, yeah, I mean, certainly my shows were probably disasters when I first started, like years ago, right? But you got to go through that, right? To get used to it, to get comfortable, to figure out what works and what doesn't. So but now, not so much now, but at the beginning I would take any offer out there, right?
Me too, right?
And of course I ended up on some terrible shows, But like I said, mine were probably considered terrible, and I would always try to get really good guests. I'm always overreaching for guests that I know are out of my league, right? And sometimes you land them, and then it's who knows what they were thinking back in the day. But now it's all good, and we have pretty good steady base of guests that come on from all the local papers in Cleveland and stuff, and some pretty big names. So it's fun.
I actually did a podcast one time as a guest, and it was a live show, and midway through, the guy's wife comes in and said, "If you don't take out the garbage, I'm divorcing your ass." And I was like, "What is going on? Like, what is happening?" So yeah, when you first start doing, I've been doing this YouTube show for 2 years. The only thing that really happened is one time I've had two people actually not show up. I send people the questions on the Friday or a day before, and they just went on the air. I'm like, "Where are you?" And they didn't show up.
Yeah. Hey. I've done
TV.
I've done plenty of solo podcasts, Monty. It's fine. I got a lot to say.
Yeah,
So
that's why I always over prepare, because you never know.
Yep.
A. Marie came on, and like I said, in the back of my mind, I was like, maybe she's at a bar drinking her sorrows away. Maybe she's not coming tonight. You never know.
You never know.
All right, Brad. We'll see you next week. Thanks so much for taking the time out, and congrats
brother.
on the 1,800 subscribers to YouTube.
I appreciate the shout out. You're the best, Monty.
Take care, Brad. All right, I want to thank all you guys for keeping the chat room going. I want to thank Brad. I want to thank A. Marie. Listen, we're doing shows on Sunday at 11 a.m., and we're doing shows every Monday night at 7 p.m., doing a recap of the NFL. This show, people are starting to realize that we're on every Monday, so I really appreciate the contributions. I really appreciate you guys taking the time out. I know it's a lot to join this show on Sunday, and on Monday, you guys have, a lot going on in your world, in your life. So I really appreciate it. And in the immortal words of Arnold Schwarzenegger, I'll be back.